What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to be doing an honest review on this Massimo Warrior 200 / Baja Heat. They're pretty much the same bike, although I think the Baja Heat is a little bit tinier than this, but they're pretty much the same bike. So we're going to jump into the middle of the bike, gas tank, engine, foot peg placement, and then we're going to move to different sections of the bike. So we're going to start off with this engine here. And the first thing I have to say is this is not a 200cc motor. I don't know why they put 200cc. It's actually a 196. I don't know why they just don't say 196, but it's not a 200cc motor. And I have to be honest, when I first got this bike, it was really, really slow. I could run faster than this bike. It was really bad. So I took out the governor and it really opened up the bike. Even without the Go Power Sports Performance Kit, it really opened up the bike. It was really helpful, but then I wanted more, so then I got the kit. And it's okay, it's an okay motor. Me personally, do I think it is a good investment to upgrade it rather than a Predator 212? I don't personally think so. If you're thinking about fully upgrading this engine, I would say swap a Predator. It is a really good engine. Like, this bike is really heavy compared to something little like that. This is a heavy bike, and this engine without the governor and the Go Power Sports Performance Kit, it pushes this bike no problem. It goes up to, with everything I've done to it, it goes up to 36 to 40 miles an hour and kind of just red lines at 40. It's an okay motor. What I plan to do, and this is just personal preference, is it's a bigger bike. I think it deserves a bigger engine. Like I said, personal preference. I think I'm gonna 420 swap it and put this engine, like I said, this is a heavy bike compared to other mini bikes, and it pushes this thing no problem. So what I think I'm gonna do is grab this motor, get another project or just another mini bike and put this motor on it, because if it's able to push this thing no problem, imagine what it would do on a smaller bike. But anyway, we're gonna move to the other side of the engine. A lot of people get confused about this right here. This is not a torque converter. It is a jack shaft, AKA clutch setup. It looks like a torque converter. That's why a lot of people get confused, because just the outline, it looks like it has a torque converter. It doesn't, it's just chain. But everything else is the same. It's a Predator, Honda clone. So that's everything with the engine that's interesting. We're gonna move on to one of my favorite parts of this bike, the gas tank, fake gas tank storage. Now, a lot of people hate on this. I think it's brilliant because it really helps out when you're trail riding, street riding, whatever, because you can hold a lot of stuff. For example, I like to carry my phone, wallet, car keys, snacks, drinks. It's really helpful. Oh, and my riding gloves. I like to keep these in here too, but this is just the paperwork and stuff. We don't really need that. But you can see there's a lot of space in here to put, you know, a lot of stuff in there. So I really like this thing. And you can always swap it out. GoPowersports.com sells a real gas tank that will bolt right onto this. So if you don't like this storage gas tank thing, you could always just swap it out for a real one. But yeah, that's pretty much it with the gas tank, fake gas tank thing. Next, from the middle section of the bike, we're gonna be talking about the foot peg placement. Now, foot peg placement, in my opinion, is really important because I'm 6'4" and I wear a size 15 shoe. You know, foot peg placement is really important to me because if we go over here to this Baja, you can see how there's barely any space for my foot to fit on that, right? I make it work, I manage. So that's why with this one, foot peg placement is perfect. Great job on that. We're gonna be moving into the front section of the bike. So you have these shocks, which I think really great because a lot of these mini bikes, like if you go on Coleman.com or just even if you find a Doodlebug, a lot of them don't come with shocks. And I'm really happy that this came with shocks. It's nothing special, it's just spring. They're just spring shocks, but they help a lot. This thing only comes with front suspension. It doesn't come with rear suspension, but you know, if you're really good at welding, you can definitely put rear suspension on this. Me personally, I don't think it needs rear suspension because if you're really serious about a rear suspension or whatever, what you can do, and what I like to do, I rode this thing. What that means is I ride it on the street, but you could release some air out of the back tire, absorb or eat bumps better. But honestly, I kind of like the front suspension only. I know the MB Trailmaster or the Trailmaster MB200, whatever, has both rear and front suspension, but that's also a $1,000 bike. But yeah, really helpful. So next, we're gonna be jumping into the fender. Now, a lot of people don't care about the fender. I really care about fenders. I'm gonna tell you why though. the durability of it, because if you crash it, if you're loading the truck and something, you know, rubs up against it and cracks it. But as you can see, I have a little scratch here. That was from a bike just full on hitting it, and no cracks, just a little scratch. So fender durability test is a success. But next we can talk about this headlight, and we'll get to the bars after that. But this headlight, I'm gonna be honest, it's just bulb. It's nothing, it's not LED, it's nothing special. It kind of sucks ass. It's not the best headlight. We're gonna actually take it outside and go test it right now, so let's go do that. So guys, you can see it's about maybe 3:30 in the morning, and I'm out here trying to show the headlight, and just like I was talking about, it's pretty bad, you know? I mean, it's okay. Like I said, it's okay if, you know, it's pitch black out, but it's not, like I said, it's not the best headlight, but it will definitely do the job. So, yeah, like I said, it's not the best. It will definitely do the job though, if it's pitch black. If it's getting dark, it's not gonna really do that much, but like I said, if it's pitch black, it'll try its best. And remember, if you don't want to have this particular one, Go Power Sports also sells those online. We can go ahead and move on to the handlebars. Now, this is another problem. I told you I was gonna be talking about the bads and the goods, and this is kind of both. It's bad and it's good, but it's an easy fix. So no matter how tight you tighten these bolts, I had an issue where it also depends on your riding style too. So if you like to stand up while riding, you're definitely gonna have to fix this. So as you can see, this paint job, it's this like slick, glossy, slick paint. It's slippery. And what they did is they painted the grooves. You can see these lines right here, these grooves, where the clamp right here bolts onto. So no matter how tight you make these clamps, I was riding one day and I put a little too much pressure on the handlebars and it just completely snapped backward. And I hit my head on the headlight and it hurt really bad. An easy fix on what you could do is I'll take the clamps off, unbolt them, take a sander and just sand the paint off of the grooves to where you see like a shiny metal or whatever, and just bolt them back on. It should fix the problem, because what happens is, you know, because there's paint on it, it makes it slippery. So when you take that paint off, it's just bare metal. And you might have to do it to the bottom of the clamps too, but it'll be fine. Anyway, we're gonna be talking about one of my favorite parts now. Now this part is my favorite. So if you are familiar with Predators or Predator swapping, you know that you typically have to turn the engine on. Down here, there's a little switch that you have to flick. Massimo went ahead and did handlebar switches, which is basically, you know, it's on the handlebar instead of down there by the engine. So you got your start, kill switch, this is for the engine, and your on off for the headlight, which is really helpful, because if you have to quickly kill the bike, you're not, you know, fumbling down there with the switch, which is really helpful. That's one of my favorite parts. Another important thing, I explained this in my Baja video too. So now grips are really important to me. They don't have to be the best grips. It's just, you know, some people make grips that look really good, but they don't really fit that well. But these grips are fine, they're okay. I usually swap my grips on any of the bikes that I have, but these are fine, these were okay. Good job on that. So next, I guess we could talk about the brake, even though the brake is on the back section of the bike. It's not hydraulic, it's just a normal brake lever. But there is a problem with the brakes. It's not that big of a problem, it just kind of gets annoying. And obviously you could fix it. You could fix any one of these problems with the bike. But I'm just letting you guys know, before you get the bike, what to expect. So I've had this bike for a couple of months now, and it squeaks really loud whenever you just move it a little bit. Like, it shrieks. But anything I'm stating about this bike, you can definitely fix. I guess we can move on to the back of the bike, which has a lot going on back here. First, we can talk about the seat. This seat is another one of my favorite parts about this bike. If we go over to the Baja here again, you can see how this is like a thin, it's just a column seat. But if we go over here, this is what I like to call the fat boy seat. This seat's mad comfortable. It's got a lot of foam and padding to support your ass. And the good thing about this seat is usually when you're riding for hours or just trail riding or doing whatever, when you get up, your ass is sore. With this seat, it doesn't make your ass sore, which is awesome, because hurting after a good day of riding your bike, your mini bike, definitely a good seat. But anyway, we can move on to the back fender. Like I said, this is kind of interesting. Same thing with the front, durable, able to take some damage. But a lot of people get confused about this piece right here. It is not a tail light, it's a reflector, but they have kits online for these bikes that can make it a brake light, which I think I'm gonna do in the future. But for now, I'm gonna keep it as a reflector. I don't really need a back brake or a back brake light now. Next, we can talk about the wheels. If you're familiar with any mini bike, they usually come with these small wheels right here. And if you compare the size, look at this wheel and look at that small wheel. Big difference. I'm gonna show this wheel instead of the back wheel because it's easier. First of all, let's start off with the tires. So we have these knobby dirt tires. They're really good for sticking in the dirt, getting traction in there. And they're perfect for road riding too, surprisingly. I thought I was gonna have to swap them. I thought I was gonna have to swap out for some street tires, but next we can talk about the rims. Oh, it's the same as this Baja. It has the Steelies. They went for a matte black steely rim, which I think looks really nice. And this doesn't come with it. I just added the stem valve cap. I thought it looked cool. But yeah, that's pretty much the review of the bike. Like I said, I talked about the goods and the bads. I guess we can talk about if this is the right bike for you. And I guess it's talking about your situation. And what are you trying to do with this bike? That's what you should ask yourself. I wanted to do street riding with this bike. That's why I bought a street looking bike. They definitely have other options of mini bikes online for off-roading or trail riding. Now I will say this, if you're trying to trail ride this thing, you definitely want to upgrade the engine. Now you don't have to do it heavily, but I would at least recommend taking out the governor because like I said, you can run faster than this thing. It's so slow. For road use, I would say 212 swap it and just upgrade that instead of this engine. If you are trying to trail ride this, taking the governor out and doing all the performance mods from Go Power Sports, that should be fine enough. I think it's a little too much speed for the trails. If you're trying to street ride this thing like I do, this is just the baby process of the bike. Obviously, it's gonna have more mods, bigger engine, better tires eventually, a brake light, and all that good stuff. If you're trying to street ride, if you like going 40 miles an hour, I guess this is the right bike for you. Personally, I got kind of bored with it already, and I want to go faster, but I don't want to invest money on this engine. I want to swap it and go for a better engine. It really goes down to your situation because if you're just trying to have fun around the yard, I would say get a Baja like that. But I guess if you're trying to take things serious, trail riding and street riding, I guess this is the perfect bike for you. Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later.